I carried in a cake and a house key. Another person rolled up in an SUV. The main entrance stood wide open, slamming with each gust. Animated shows blared from a space I'd never entered. Cardboard containers scattered all around. Sticky spots covered the kitchen surfaces. Mom clutched a dishcloth like a white flag. Dad's fingers trembled around a mug of chilled brew. Then Ryan, my sister's husband, jabbed a finger at him. This place belongs to me. Get lost. From the sofa, Sarah, my sibling, chuckled. She kept going until I stepped inside. Quiet hit hard and sudden. The clear top on the cake snapped in my hand. Mom's gaze locked on mine. Puffy, tiny, frightened. I'm Olivia Harris, 37, brain surgeon, firstborn kid, the fixer in the bunch. I stayed calm in my words. I avoided any yelling. I just chose to end the turmoil right there. Where are you tuning in from? Share your town in the comments. Part 2. The dependable one. I was raised on bank overdrafts and handouts of kindness. When the lease payment lagged, I assured Mom things will work out. By age 10, I was already decoding grown-up worries. Dad pulled extra hours at work. Mom clipped discounts until her hands stained from the prints. Sarah doodled sunrises on the refrigerator door and skipped every cleanup. Folks labeled her the imaginative type. They tagged me as the reliable one. It involved mending what's damaged, settling what's owed, and that's what I handled. Study books, college fees, a marriage ceremony. When Ryan vowed to reimburse me, it never happened. When their vehicle failed, I purchased a replacement. When the little ones required orthodontic work, I handled the out-of-pocket cost. Each payment arrived with tales of affection, and each tale included a bill I never saved. Mom often remarked, "You came into the world mature, Olivia." She said it with warmth. It stung anyway. I kept my life modest so they could relax. Skipped trips, avoided extras, stuck to early morning studies, and one secure goal: to provide them stability. When they reached 50 years of marriage, I aimed for a residence that stayed solid. A place with ocean breezes rather than fights. I located it compact, sky-colored, and welcoming. Finalized the deal under their names. Covered property taxes for 2 decades in advance. Slipped a message in the cabinet for joyful starts to the day. I stocked the refrigerator, installed drapes that danced with the sea gusts. They teared up at the sight. It seemed like true harmony, honestly achieved. Then Sarah spotted a social media update, and harmony shifted to real estate. She dubbed it the household for all. Ryan claimed it as theirs. My folks didn't set them straight. They rarely do. They sensed a chance. I detected trouble brewing. I headed over post-operation. The highway buzzed like numbing medication. The sea lingered, silent and critical. My medical attire still carried the scent of disinfectant from extended shifts. I rehearsed gentle phrases in my mind. Peaceful, logical relatives talk. By the parking moment, they all rang hollow. Part 3. The steady precision. The entryway gaped open once more. Identical sounds, identical mess. Ryan stood without shoes, clutching a bottle, smiling as if he controlled the waves. Sarah glanced from her screen. Well, well, she noted. The doc has arrived. Dad's looked pleated. Mom fidgeted with her band. I placed my carry-all aside. Gather in the family area, I instructed. Not booming, simply direct and clear. The youngsters hit pause on the program. The pups quit tearing apart a cushion. They trailed along since types like Ryan figured the space was his. I positioned myself near the shelf above the fireplace beneath a picture of my parents slicing their wedding treat. My heartbeat synced with the wall clock. The shelf carried aromas of citrus polish and past parties. I pulled out my documents. Title, I announced, placing the initial sheet. The title featured autographs, timelines, and official seal. Asset held by the Harris family estate. Lifelong recipients, Thomas and Grace Harris. Estate document. Next sheet. I serve as the following administrator. My role is safeguarding them. Ryan grinned mockingly. Safeguard from what? From you. Third sheet. A digital vacation rental ad. Identical property, identical scenery. Sarah's descriptions. Top beachfront. Full residence. Reserved solid until late summer. Payments directed to Ryan's profile. Reserved dates implied outsiders in my parents' sleeping area. Fourth, conversation captures. Sarah's text. He'll give in if mom gets emotional. The fifth, community guidelines. No brief stays for rent. Zero allowances. I pointed to the edge note. Sarah's grin faltered. Ryan's turned sour. You're blowing this up, he claimed. Sarah gulped, then attempted sweetness. We're assisting, she stated. We're dealing with the tough stuff. I lightly touched the stack. I don't exaggerate. I perform procedures. Mom murmured. Olivia, please. Her tone quivered beyond my steadiness. Mom, I replied gently. No raising voices here. I'm resolving. For the initial moment, Dad agreed. Dad breathed out as if surfacing after ages below. A modest, weary agreement signaling stop. Have you ever needed to remain composed amid upheaval? Comment 1 if you've set a limit. Comment 2 if you're working on it. I shut the binder, inhaled deeply. Accuracy beats frenzy, command beats disorder. I laid my device on the surface, display facing up, a prepared message to the community board with files attached. Marcus, the lock expert, lingered a couple homes away. I messaged him simply. Hold position. The space readjusted its calculations. Ryan's posture dropped under figures he couldn't intimidate. The variety of hush that compels attention. I don't extinguish blazes with emotion. I allow facts to ignite purely. Ryan advanced. Part 4, the bolt and the rules. A pace, puffing up like a confrontation. Elderly guy out. I positioned myself in between, stable as a rhythm keeper. Dad stayed put. The area ultimately shifted. My palms remained firm, my tone level. Direct that finger once more, I stated quietly. And you'll exit quicker than the current. Ryan chuckled like a provocation. Sarah huffed, then eased her speech. Olivia, we're kin. Avoid the theatrics. I positioned my device on the surface. Community panel, leaders and local office. Title, estate, guidelines, ad captures. Ryan, I noted, no debating regulations. I'll apply them. He dismissed with a glance. Digital notes don't frighten me. No, I replied, outcomes do. The chime sounded like a period. Marcus the lock specialist occupied the threshold. Sarah stammered. You can't swap our bolts. Not yours, I clarified. Theirs. Mom looked to Dad, then agreed once. Marcus placed his kit and began. Hardware snapped like time resetting. Ryan loomed, buzzing with false bravery. Lay a hand on that entrance and I contact authorities. Go ahead, I encouraged, indicating the estate. Deliver them the documents and your ad. Sarah tested a fresh approach in her speech. Gentle hurt. Sibling lure. We're aiding with the difficult bits, Olivia. Steps, shopping, tidying. Allow us to shoulder it. You labor excessively. I raised a 6-sheet from the binder. An image from the spare room compartment. Ryan's venture outline. Edges packed with rapid figures. Estimated earnings 5-fold the community penalty. In Sarah's script, a mark like a wound. M won't refuse if Mom tears up. The area truly recoiled. Mom emitted a noise unfamiliar to me. Dad's expression hardened like rock. Sarah blanched, then flared. Ryan declared, That's personal. It's revealing, I responded. And it's finished. Marcus replaced the main lock and added the digital entry. I passed Dad the slip with the short-term passcode. Select a fresh one, I suggested. Something meaningful, not an anniversary. He grinned involuntarily. Grace ANC, Marcus inputted. I launched my computer on the low table. Connection active. Proof prepared. Text set. I hit submit to the board, then the site. The ad disappeared before Ryan completed a swear. His jaw dropped like a faulty latch. I faced Sarah. You'll remove every mention of this property. You'll say sorry to Mom and Dad. You'll place the key on the surface. Ryan grinned slyly. Come grab it. Marcus extended his palm. Ryan paused, then dropped the key. Brooding. He attempted a final tactic. Funds turned you into the guardian, Olivia. I shook my head. Documents created the limit. Nobody talked. Just the sea murmured gentle and sure. The residents released breath like it regained vitality. They bet on remorse. I responded with regulations. It required 3 hours. Part 5, Limits in Action. To sort the disorder. Marcus operated like a shadow with equipment. Ryan grumbled, scuffed the pavement, muttered warnings that rang hollow. Sarah perched on luggage feigning sorrow. Mom wiped a spotless counter. Dad observed the swells like they tallied. When the bolts secured, the atmosphere warmed. I prepared herbal drink in the pot I gifted them. Mom patted her cheeks with a tissue. I hated to involve you, she shared. They arrived quickly. They promised to manage the steps, the errands, the tough elements. The tough elements, I repeated, are the ones requiring effort. She agreed, remorseful, kind. I accessed my computer, voided each unlawful reservation, included evidence with every return, issues resolved, confirmations dispatched. Then I composed a brief note to nearby folks. You might have noticed vehicles. Misunderstanding occurred. No brief rentals at 24 CS Spray. Signed, Olivia Harris, Administrator. I marked the electrical panel for Dad. I outputted local contacts and affixed them in the storage closet. I stored title duplicates in a binder titled Routine Protection. I attached community regs beneath the holder on the fridge. Sarah attempted fresh personas. We were simply thrilled for them, she claimed. I desired the children close to their grands. When that flopped, she altered pitch. You believe cash makes you the authority? It doesn't, I stated. It makes me responsible. She winced, then honed. You'll be sorry for this. Perhaps, I replied, but not now. Ryan withheld the final key. Come retrieve it, he challenged. I entered 0000 on the pad, then updated the code. Dad picked anew. Same phrase. Grace and C. Sarah observed her remaining grip fade. That evening, I dispatched one last message. 3 key points. All house matters route through me. No entry approval granted. Any breach prompts court steps. I copied myself. No others. Set it as default reply. Self-acting limits. Self-acting calm. In days, Sarah escalated the theater digitally. Images, headings, posts on disloyalty. Wealth alters folks. She seized our kin residence. I stayed silent. Upper earns no clarification. I've devoted years to justifications. I phoned our aunt, the sole one who speaks directly. Outline brief and clear. The property is for our parents. It remains so, she affirmed. At last, Olivia, that suffices. Soon an alert sounded. Fresh ad. Identical images. Alternate profile. I sent it forward with title included. 10 minutes on, ad gone. Account suspended. I sensed no victory, only ease. Beyond, the current turned under moonlight. Within, the pot sang. Mom sighed. Dad grasped her palm. The residents held steady. Hush isn't yielding. It's a smart plan. Dawn carried sense of. Part 6. Affection with entries that secure. Brian and Flapjacks. Mom scorched the initial set and giggled. Dad tagged the electrical panel once more. Identical script, identical satisfaction. The residents inhaled deep and vibrant. The sea drone outdoors, acting unaware of the events. I repaired a jamming door pivot, positioned soft spheres on the storage ledge, left a directory of contacts affixed by the landline. Mom arranged new blooms near the glass. Rays danced over the surface like pardon. We shared the meal without mentioning her. No Sarah, no turmoil, simply brew. Light taps, stable atmosphere. Later, Mom brushed my fingers. I'll speak with your sister, she declared. Not to fight, to decline. Her gaze moist but sharp. The sort that recognizes the price of quiet. I figured maintaining calm required silence, she breathed. It only costs both. I agreed. Limits aren't barriers, Mom, I noted. They're entries that secure at last. A week on, my young niece messaged me. Grandma seems joyful there. The place is lovely. I replied. Visit anytime. With her okay, no reservations, simply flapjacks. She fired a chuckling face. A small ceasefire. That evening, I traveled solo. Glows within. Mom absorbed in a book on the sofa. Dad napping, specks slipping on his face, the waves murmuring via the mesh. I stayed out. I simply remained, allowing the stillness to convey it all. Affection isn't shielding disorder with your form. It isn't labeling harm as kin. Affection is documents that endure when folks fail. Affection is a residence with bright rays and entries that secure. Affection is declaring no and intending calm. If you've ever picked between kin and calm, know you're not solo. Like, share, and subscribe for tales where recovery prevails at last.